Hey guys, welcome to another intrepid episode of CTA Live. I am your host, Dave Curley. If we haven't met, the founder of Church Training Academy. And Church Training Academy is a place where we're creating a community and just an environment, a library where you guys can come and learn how to do all these really cool, neat things that everyone's able to do with technology. If you guys haven't noticed, it's really easy to broadcast. It's really easy to take your message and get it out to the world using all kinds of different tools: your phone, your computer, typing, speech, images, all this kind of stuff. And sometimes it can get overwhelming. And so that's what Church Training Academy is here to do: is to teach you how to use and exploit media and technology so that you can change people's lives, reach people, and grow your church. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so. Want to before we get into the whole meat of our conversation here, if you guys got the email this morning, you saw we're going to be talking about showcasing your church's culture and stuff like that. Before we do that, Justin and I, my fantastic partner here, let me make sure that I have Justin on. Let's see. Here we go. Justin, say hi to everybody.
Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you too, my friend. Justin and I were talking about our tooltip to share this week, and we're kind of, I don't know if this is really a tool, if you would classify this as a tool or not, but Justin, why don't you tell them what we've come up with this week to share with them?
Yeah, this week we're talking about, for the tool tip of the week, is going to be Facebook groups. It is not a tool so much as it's something that you download, something that you get hands on with, but it is a tool and something that you can use to rely on information coming into you. It's kind of like a support portal, I would call it. So Facebook groups have basically changed the game in that you can connect with anyone, anywhere, in any field. And I mean any field. If you go search nerd pastors, that's a group. If you go search church techies, there are many groups, and those are the ones we're actually going to talk about today. So unlike when youth ministry was coming onto the scene 20, 30 years ago, and you just kind of had to figure it out for yourself, church communications is coming onto the scene now. More positions are being filled and staffed for church communicators and media directors for churches. But we're not alone, because we have this amazing thing called Facebook groups. And you may think that, okay, Facebook groups for church, I'm the lighting guy. There's nothing. No, there is a Facebook group with, I believe, 700 people for just church lighting. And so there are groups out there for you. You just have to search them. So today, for the tool of the week, me and Dave are going to share our top two. I counted 12 Facebook groups for church communicators, church techies, and there's even more. But today, Dave and I are going to share with you just two. So one of them, I'm going to go share my two first. My first one that I love is church storytellers. Now, they're not techie so much, but it's about sharing your story on social media, in your church, how to. So it's not so much what buttons to push on the video camera, but more of what you should be pointing your camera at. So check out Church Storytellers. It's headed by Brian Mann. He's a church communicator out of Houston. He is an amazing guy. He loves that group, and it shows. So if you ever just find yourself struggling with, I have no ideas to share, or I don't know how to share this story, definitely check out that Facebook group, Church Storytellers. The other one that I love, that I lean on a lot, is Social Media for Churches. And that's headed up by Kenny Jang. And he's actually the guy that connected me with Dave in the first place. So Kenny has a special place in my heart. But Social Media for Churches is run by Kenny Jang and his business, Church Butler. And in that group, again, it's called Social Media for Churches. In that group, it's all about answering your social media questions. So you can hop in that group anytime and you can say, hey guys, I have this image, it's not performing well, or what do I say with this? How do I respond to this? Kenny's very much on top of current events. So after the events this Monday morning, Kenny was on top of it. Hey guys, let's keep this in mind on social media. Let's approach it this way. We've seen it happen before, and we learned these lessons. And so it's a very much, that is a huge tool for me. Whenever I just think I have no ideas to share, or I have a question about, what metrics should I be using, or what kind of videos work well, you can just go right there and just get kind of search through and see other people that are going through the same thing as you. So those are my two picks: Church Storytellers and Social Media for Churches.
Fantastic. Those are both great from what I can see. I have requested to join both of those. A lot of these groups are private groups, even though they're even though they're public groups, what they do is they have a process for joining. Sometimes it's simply just requesting that you can join, and then they may go look at your profile and make sure you're not a robot or an advertiser or something like that. And then the rest of the time, they will have maybe 2 or 3 questions for you to ask. They want to vet you and make sure that you are going to be a contributing member of the community. They don't want someone who is selling Amway coming in there and trying to hit everybody for Amway. What they want, say in the church storytellers, they want to know that you are involved in storytelling in a church. So I made application to one of them, to that one earlier, and it wanted to know what aspect of storytelling am I looking to do? Am I doing film? Am I doing preaching? Am I doing written? As it pertains to the church. So they want to vet you, which is really cool. It's kind of a pain because you can't just jump in there. But what's really cool is they are vetting you, which means the people that you're going to be communicating with and connecting with have been vetted. So you don't have to worry about somebody just going in there and start spamming and doing things like that. You know that when you're asking questions, you're talking to people that have either asked this question before, are asking the same questions, or may have insights that they can share with you and that you can contribute to as well, share your insights. So it's really cool. The two that I am really liking, and one that I've been a part of for a long time, is called Visual Church Media, and it is it's neat. It is a free group. It is a very large group, and it is run by, and I cannot remember the gentleman's name. It is run by a guy who has a company called Church Media Graphics or Church Motion Graphics. I can't remember, CMG, and you know when you're looking at the words in church, like if you're not on the media team or if you're not involved in this aspect of the media team, on the screens we got the words with the really pretty backgrounds and stuff. That's what these guys do. And this group is surrounded around people that are in church media that are working in different aspects, but the one common thing that brought them all together was their love of church media graphics, and all this kind of stuff. So not only are you going to be tapping into a group of creatives that are that are kind of surrounding this one little topic here? You're going to get stuff from all across the board. It is a really, really useful group. I've been in that group where people have said, we're trying to do this. What would you recommend? We're looking to do to do slides on the big projectors. Are you using ProPresenter? Are we using this other app or this other app? And then there's discussions going on. It's just a wealth of information from people all across the board that are using these things at all these different levels. It's a really great one. It's called Visual Church Media. The other one is Church Production Gear Traders. Is that right? Church Production Gear Traders. Okay. Budget is always a consideration when we're doing anything in the church, okay? And a lot of churches will have a budget that accounts for them upgrading stuff, okay? So they will get certain hardware, get certain pieces of equipment, and use them for a while, and then realize we've kind of reached the limits of what we can do with this. It's time to either gut this system and put in all new stuff, or take these pieces out and get new things. So what this group does, it's kind of like all the free the buy-sell trade groups that you may be a part of in your area. Like, I'm in Arlington, Texas, so we have Arlington Buy-Sell Trade, and you go join this group, and then if somebody's getting rid of their dining table, they may put it up there, and you make arrangements with them, give them $100 or whatever, and go and pick it up. It's kind of a less seedy version of Craigslist. So what the Church Production Gear Traders group does is that same thing. People will put things up for sale. So, I mean, if you're looking for subwoofers, someone may be selling subwoofers. You may have to pay shipping, from Florida to, Texas or whatever like that. But you're going to be able to generally get things for a really, really good price. And you'll see pictures, and you'll be able to talk to the people, and they may say, you know what, we got 10 lights here, and 9 of them work flawlessly. One of them has a couple of problems. We think if you do this, it'll actually get it fixed, but we're pulling them all out, so they're for sale. It's fantastic. So those are mine: Visual Church Media and Church Production Gear Traders.
Tommy raised a great question. You mentioned the difference between groups and pages, and I know you talked about groups just a couple weeks ago, but just a reminder for everyone, a page is really for an organization to broadcast what they're doing out for Facebook to see. A group is more for people to come together inside of a community centered around a hobby, a niche, a passion, a cause. There are some people that have causes as pages, but that was kind of started before groups. The reason why you would maybe want to join a group instead of a page is that a page really has limited reach. It's more of a broadcasting. Facebook wants pages to kind of pay to play now.
Right.
Your average page will only reach about 6% of your following, whereas a group is more community based. So people get notifications when people post to groups. Facebook will show more groups inside the timeline. That's probably going to change, but right now groups just inherently have more reach because they inherently have more community. So that's the big difference here. So you may find a page that's centered around, church lighting, but you're not going to see as much of that in your timeline because it is a page. It's a broadcasting platform. It's also built more for stuff to find local businesses, to check in, write reviews. That's kind of where pages are heading. So groups are more community focused.
You can think of groups. Those of us have been doing this a lot longer. You can think of groups as like forums. Forums have been a big part of the internet for the past 20 plus years, 25 years, whatever, where there would be a forum and there would be topical items listed. There may be different subjects, and then you would go into that subject, and then you would read questions and participate in conversations, like a list of conversations, and you could contribute and people could share information and do all that sort of stuff. Forums are really, really hard to manage and to police. And in our cases, we want to make sure that we're policing a forum because we don't want a hate group to come in and start spewing a whole bunch of junk in there, and it's like buried way down in some post that no one really sees unless you stumble across it. So when you're doing groups, you're in the Facebook ecosystem. It's all kind of managed for you, and then you can assign people to basically be part of your community managers in that, so that they can facilitate the conversations, they can help re-guide the conversations, and they can also turn around and get rid of the conversations and ban people that are misbehaving and stuff. But it's really cool. Groups are the new forums right now, and it's, with the exception of your own website, it's a great companion to what you are doing as a organization or a community or anything. I can't think of a reason why any company, organization, group, community, anything wouldn't benefit from having a group. And you can have a public group or a private group. In our case, for CTA, we're doing a private group because it's part of your membership. When you join CTA and pay, the monthly fee or a yearly fee, then you're a part of that group. We put you in that group, and it's a very controlled as far as like the size, because it's only going to be the members. And we don't have to worry about people spamming and doing all sorts of stuff like that. Whereas your church may use a group for, our church has one for the youth group. Our church's private school has one for the parents of the kids that are at that school, and it's really tightened down. And so if they share something in that group, unless somebody like does a screenshot or copies and pastes and puts it out on the internet, they can't just share it and stuff like that. So groups are really cool. So let's talk about today's subject, my brother.
We are talking about showcasing your church culture online with social media, and this really is what we're going to share with you today is going to really help engage people when they come across your social media. Because really it comes down to, and I literally just read this morning, Dave Adamson, who works at North Point Church. I just saw a tweet come by on my tweet deck, and I thought it was amazing. He said, pictures of, basically, I'm paraphrasing, he said, pictures of your church, of the people in your church, of your church culture. Those pictures will give visitors the chance to visit your church without actually stepping foot inside of your church. And that's what we're talking about today, because we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago, no one ever came to church because of a mission statement. No one really sees anymore a building and says, that looks like a nice church, let's go there. We actually care about what's going on inside now. We live in a world where everything is connected and we can learn anything we want at any time. And so it's no longer about having a pretty sign or a pretty building. We want to see the people inside, and are they actually worth getting along with? Are they like me? Will I fit in? And so sharing your church culture in one place, your social media, is going to help attract people and see that you're a real church. This is especially effective if you want to reach people who have been burned by the church, who grew up with a strict household, or grew up going to a strict church, or maybe a strict private school that had Christian affiliation, and they've been burned on it, and they have one idea in their mind, and they cannot understand, and it's through no fault of their own, they can't understand that church is a loving and welcoming place. And so we're going to talk today about showcasing your church culture to show people what your church is really about. These aren't going to be advertisements. These aren't going to
Right.
be graphics so much, at least the ones I'll be talking about. These are going to be how to share what your church is doing and give a peek inside of your church to people who are on your social media and seeing what your church is all about. So Dave is
Yeah.
going to kick it off with the first post type.
One of the things that I like the best, that I think is the coolest, you and I sent out, you posted in our private group the hashtag pray for Vegas, or pray for Las Vegas, Las Vegas, pray for Vegas imagery, where we had a nice picture and we had a hashtag on it and put it out there. Stuff like that, I think is great for a church to do, right? Because whether it's something going on in your area, whether it's something happening locally, well, I can't talk today. What is wrong with me? Something that happens locally, whether it's a local concern, out in out in San Angelo, which is out in West Texas on the edge of the frontier, is where my in-laws live, and they went through a couple of years of like some serious drought, and so like the entire town, all the churches had a hashtag pray for rain campaign that they were doing, and it was just simply to help everybody continual mindset of praying for rain for their area. So doing things like that, and I think it's important that the church kind of lead the charge in doing that. We talk about how the church needs to be involved in the community. We're supposed to be in the world, but not of the world. Being in the world means being in the community, which means building the relationships and doing that. So when something is going on, and the church can take that messaging and put a biblical or a Christian spin on it or whatever, and sort of lead that charge and help people's minds get into that, I think it's great. Doing that same type of thing with bullet points and stuff like that from the service can help foster communication, and also showcase to the outside world coming in just a kind of a glimpse as to what's going on, what the pastor thinks, what the pastor talks about. So, if you got like five points, in a service, or if the pastor says something that's just really just like, man, and you hear everybody going amen and freaking out over it because just some salient point was made, you jot that point down, get that quote, grab the DVD or the podcast or something, and write that down and put it with a picture of the pastor preaching, or if it's about something, if it's a scripture or something, put the scripture, from a shot from the Bible or something like that, putting it out there, and then maybe generating some conversation around it. So that's one way to basically use your church's Facebook page and your social media presence to engage in the community with content you're creating that is from the church into the community, and can hopefully spark a little bit of conversation.
Yeah, and the great thing about those is it works on any platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
We call them quote posts on Instagram, and they work really well on
Yeah.
Instagram,
And
surprisingly well.
one thing you should do, and I'll put it in the links, is you need to make sure that you're optimizing the photographs for the various platforms. There are some sizing differences between them and stuff, and so I'll put a little something in the notes here at it's going to be churchtrainingacademy.com/01. Are we episode 12? We are episode 12,
Yes.
aren't we? So yeah, so churchtrainingacademy.com/012. That's episode 12. That's where these notes are going to be. So you'll see the sizing for the different social media posts there. All right, so what you got, bub?
All right, so the second type of post is going to be one that I love, is people being friendly with one another. Basically,
Mr.
smiling,
Rogers'
happy
Neighborhood.
people.
Smiley, happy
Pretty much.
people. Yeah. Cue
We
the
wanna
REM
show- I mean,
song.
if you're a church that says welcome home, if you're a church that says we're a family, you need to communicate that on your social media. So, just snap some pictures of people smiling. If you have a greeting time, that's a great time. Handshakes, hugs, smiles. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to get images, and it may seem weird at first. It may seem weird, but once you develop that and you let your church know, hey guys, we're sharing these pictures because it's going to encourage more people to come, because we say we're a welcoming church. We say we're family. We say we're home. Let's prove it.
Right.
Greeting time is especially good. If you just have people holding hands during service, while they're praying, if you have people in the lobby just chatting, drinking coffee, those are great examples of things that you can share, because it just shows that, when someone visits your social media or checks it out and they're wondering, hey, is this place for me and will I fit in? Well, they can see, oh, this church won't probably won't make fun of me for my tattoos or look down on me because there's people with tattoos in their church.
Exactly.
So that's another quick way. So just think, take one picture, two pictures, and it doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can find someone that has a phone with a camera, and the younger people seem to be especially good at that. So just say, hey, if you see someone or something that you think would be nice to have on social media, just snap a picture of it. It doesn't have to be a framed portrait or anything. It's just people doing life do really well and are really engaging there.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that you mentioned brings up a concern that some churches may have in respects to that, and that's when you're moving from in a church that has had the "we've never done it like that before" mentality, and you are moving in a new direction, and you are opening up new doors. And in our case, at our church, we are heavily moving into media and video production and storytelling, and the way we are approaching ministry, both internally, externally, and then physically inside the tools and things that we're using. So it may seem weird. I had a lady had a lady complain to her husband, who works in the media booth with me, that I was a distraction because I was standing close to the podium, not like up on the podium, but like on the floor next to the pews that are like right up close, and I stepped out from that area, and I was holding my phone, and I had a gimbal, and I was holding it up, and I was getting some very close up shots of the singing and praise stuff, and I was grabbing some footage that I could use in some of our promotional stuff. He's causing a distraction. He's doing okay. That's going to happen. Don't be scared of that. Okay, you're not going to get run off to do that. And if someone does have a problem with you doing that, someone has a problem with you coming in with a camera and a nice lens, and while the howdy doody time is going on, taking some pictures, or standing in the back, or kind of coming forward and taking pictures of the pastor and stuff, you can't fake that stuff. You can't say, hey, pastor, let's go in there, let's get the choir, let's get all the musicians, let's get all this sort of stuff, and let's stage this so we can take 3 pictures. You can't do that. But if you start bringing that into, this is the way it is, and just, if people are doing this, if someone is standing there taking a picture, or someone kind of comes in and kneels down and takes a picture and stuff like that, just ignore them. Churches all across the country are doing that. I watch Greg Laurie, and I see him up there preaching, and I see a guy standing there with a Steadicam rig and all this kind of stuff, standing there, coming up and then walking away from him and stuff. And he's wearing black, and he's blending into the background. He's not being completely obtrusive. It's not like you got a big jib that you're sitting there bringing in and getting in front of people and stuff. You're not doing stuff like that. But if you just start doing it in little pieces and stuff, people will get used to it. And then the reward on the other side is big, because you have really good, so you're not going out and getting stock photographs of, hi, we're happy people who are shaking hands and hugging because we love each other, stock photo. It's not that. It's the actual culture of your church. One of the things that I like to share that I think is really great, I call them quick hits. And I talk about this when we talk about adding live streaming to your church and to your ministry. There's 2 ways. If you guys have seen my presentation and stuff, there's 2 types of live streaming. There's the formal stuff. There's the cameras that are sitting up with people, and there's the the broadcast switcher and all this kind of stuff, and streaming it out to Facebook Live and to YouTube and all this great produced stuff that you're doing. Then there's also the quick hits, which are selfie mode and indie mode, where you're grabbing your phone. There's my phone. I got it here with me today. Where you grab your phone and you just like go live, on Facebook Live, and you say, hey, this is Dave, and I'm the communications director at Taste Springs Baptist Church, and let's go see what Pastor Jared's doing. And you walk in there and you turn the camera on and go, Jared, what are you working on right now? And he's like, holy cow, let's see, I'm working on the sermon, and we're going to be talking about this, we're going to be talking about that, or going in and while the youth director is getting things set up, or the band is starting to practice, these slice of life kind of things that are going on in your church behind the scenes. These are great because they showcase the people doing the work, right? They showcase what is happening when you're not there. It's real. It's in the moment. It is. I mean, there's a reason why you and I, when we go and get DVDs, we like to watch the behind the scenes stuff. We like to see the making ofs and see all that sort of stuff. And we like to see our favorite actors interacting with each other, and giggling, especially when it's a good guy and a bad guy and in the movies, but they're like best friends in real life. We love all that sort of stuff. And so we can do that with our church, because your ministerial staff sometimes, depending on the size of your church, ends up with a a relational and an emotional detachment from the actual congregation, because you've got 1,500 people in the congregation and you've got 8 staff members, and they can't go to lunch every day with somebody from the church. You see what I'm saying? You can't build those relationships. Doing things like this can actually help build those relationships and start conversations that are completely mundane and completely off topic and all that, but bring the reality of the people that are in the ministry doing that, bring that out to the forefront. And I think they're really cool. Okay, that's you. Your turn next. Boom. There you go.
All right. So the last one that I have, I was just mesmerized. I was like taking notes in my head. The last one I've got for you is one that I honestly don't see enough, and it's going to be the next big thing. So we need to get on this now. Is to be an advocate for your own people.
Yeah.
You need to be fans of your fans, basically, is how I've heard it put. You need to share things that are going on in your church. And this is a little bit, I mean, honestly, this is easier done for smaller churches and
Hmm.
medium churches than it is for larger churches, but it can still be done. You just have to kind of batch them together a little bit. And that's just share life events happening in your church. If a couple members of your church get engaged, or even one church member gets engaged, share that, celebrate with them. Let other
Absolutely.
people in service in your church celebrate with them. Someone has a child, celebrate with them. We'll often post things. If someone has complications at birth, we'll post things like that for pray with them. But let's also celebrate and give praises on social media, and just announce that and let everyone know, hey guys, these two got married. Let's celebrate it. You can share a verse with it if you want, but celebrate that. I had a couple other ideas here. Let me pull those up. If you have one amazing one that we had perform really well for my own church, was I saw that one of my new friends and church members was having a Saturday meetup where they would just go through a discipleship book together.
Mm.
It was one man meeting with a couple, an older couple, and they were discipling him. This wasn't something that the church set up. This wasn't something that a pastor set up. This was just the initiative of two mature believers wanting to pour into a new Christian.
The church
And
being the
so
church.
and so I saw that. Yeah, exactly. So I saw that because we're friends on Facebook from my personal profile. And I said, hey, can I share this on our church? And he said, absolutely, go ahead. And I shared that. And that thing blew up. And it was just a picture. It was just a cheap selfie. It was a little
Right.
blurry. It just said, hey, I'm at their house and we're reading this book. And I just shared that. His profile allowed me to share it to the Facebook page. So I did. And everyone loved it. They ate it up. They were so encouraged because that's us doing what we're supposed to be doing. And from a visitor standpoint, I mean, that shows that, hey guys, we're caring. We're not a programmatic church. If you've been burned on that before, I go back to that. That's not us. We're real people caring about each other. So be advocates. If even if you have a track and fielder. I saw this one time and I thought, this is a pretty cool church. The track and fielder won an all-state medal. And so the pastor said in church, he said, hey, stand up and we're proud of you, bud. And so you can do that on social media. I did that on my last church. We had a member who was participated in Special Olympics, and he got medals, and we shared it. And everyone was so encouraging for him and for his family. His family just loved it, and they felt the love. And it sounds weird when you say we're using the internet to share the love of Christ, but that's really what it comes down to. So the last one for me is be advocates of your people, share life events and celebrate with them. And you can share things to pray with them as well if they're okay with it. I do like to ask for permission first. If it's on Facebook and we're friends and I see it, I'll just do a comment or I'll send them a direct message.
Hmm.
On Instagram, the same thing. I'll send them a DM. Twitter is a little bit more public, so I don't really ask. I just kind of retweet because there's no privacy settings on Twitter. Everything's
Exactly.
everywhere. So if they share it on Twitter, I just hit retweet. But yeah, so be advocates, be fans of your fans, and share their events on social media. That's going to share what your church values and therefore your church culture.
One of the things that may come up, and when you're doing something like that, and I want to warn you, and I want to tell you, don't be gun shy. Um, you're going to have people that are putting things out there regularly. Just that's just the way their family is. They put it out. Hey, our kid did this. Our kid did that. Or help us celebrate, somebody's engagement or something like that. And there's going to be other people that are not going to do that. And it may seem like you're sharing from these people more than these people, and someone may complain about that. Look, you, it's if you have the mentality that if we can't do it for everybody, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to. If you can't chew gum in class unless you brought some for everybody. Okay, you need to throw that out the door. Okay, because the reality is there's some people that share, there's some people that don't share. Some people will say, they'll share it, but yeah, don't share it with the church. Well, okay, that's weird, but okay, so they don't want to share it with the church. Fine, but you have to have the mentality that I do for some what I would love to do for everybody, and it's just physically impossible. You can't go down 600 people in church and share every kid's graduation picture. You can't do that, or from their life, or every family member that gets engaged. You can't do stuff like that. However, you can do some. And if somebody complains about it, just simply handle them on a one-to-one basis. Okay, that is going to happen. That's the way it is. And the alternative to doing that is doing things the way we've been doing them for the past 100 years, where we can't do it for everybody, so we're not going to do it at all. And I say bollocks to that. We just do what we can and showcase it and just love everybody. And if somebody complains that you never show my stuff, then say, hey, let's have some of your stuff. Let's showcase it. Fantastic. Wonderful. Thanks for letting us know. Take it from that kind of a mentality. Is there anything else that you want to cover in this, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly what you said. If someone says, hey, how come you're not sharing my stuff? My kid did this. Just, for me, it's simply, I'm not your Facebook friend yet, so
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Let's be Facebook friends and let me share that.
Yeah.
If you do have a larger
I don't
church
scour
and it's
the
just-
internet all day long looking for everything. If I see it, I do it.
Facebook doesn't show me everything either. If you do have a larger church, I get this from Raquel Serrano. She's up in Chicago. If you have a larger church and you can't share every birth announcement, what you can do is you can batch them. So you can do, hey, these are our births from July. Hallelujah.
Yep.
Thanks, family. And you can batch them together into one post. It's a little bit more work, but if you have a larger church, maybe you have a comm director that can put in that time. But if you're smaller or you're just getting started, just share what you see, share what you come across, and that. And if it really does become an issue, if you just say, I'm already overworked and I don't have time to filter through, and I know someone's going to, then create just a simple one page. This is what we share. We share, awards at the state level. We share community achievements with 18 and younger. We share births. We share engagements, and then we share life-threatening
right illnesses or whatever. Sure, right.
And that's it. That's the only 5 things we share. So if so-and-so says, hey, I won pie contest in Illinois, and you're in Arkansas, and you're like, okay, that doesn't really match our thing because it's not in the community. I
thought I saw that picture.
It was a county fair. It's
fine.
not. So you can kind of have something to point back to. So if that is an issue, you can develop a strategy, but go ahead and do it now, because there's been so many things that I start that I thought, this is not going to work, and it ended up working. And not causing those problems. So don't talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, and like don't be
said, if you want to get somewhere you haven't been, you have to do something you haven't done.
That's right, and don't be afraid to put together a team. If it becomes something. Then, that's the great thing about groups and pages and stuff is you can assign administrators, you can assign roles and have people do it. And you can have 2 or 3 people that are your little group of social life sharing, that basically between the 3 of them, they're just looking throughout the course of a day or a week and seeing what's going on people's Facebook things, and either marking them and kind of setting them aside and going, here's what we're going to showcase, on Saturday morning or whenever you do it, or they just handle it and you don't have to worry about it. So there's lots of different ways to do that. Guys, I want to thank y'all so much for joining us today. And I want to tell you that if you're thinking about live streaming or adding live streaming to your ministry in one way or another, like I talked about earlier, the formal produced live streaming or doing the quick hits or adding live streaming at any level in your ministry and stuff, I want to invite you to go to easylivestreaming.com and grab our free guide, something we put together for you guys called Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way, that'll kind of show you what's out there and what you can do and give you some ideas. And also it's got some links to some hardware and software and stuff that can help you get going and get started. And it's just our gift to you. We want you to do this, and we want you to get started doing it. We want you to help reach more people and engage more people and showcase the culture of your church and doing all that sort of stuff. And one way to do that is to add live streaming to your ministry at a whole bunch of different levels, but all the way from the lowest level of just standing there with it, doing a selfie, or the entire, sharing the entire live event live online as it happens. So that's our gift to you. Justin, my friend, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of the team here. My partner, I really appreciate that. You want to tell people about what we did on Monday real quick?
Yeah, I guess we could. It's kind of a secret, but I guess not anymore. No, we launched Church Training Academy version 1.0. That is live now.
Yes.
So we're no longer just talking about it. We're doing it.
That's right.
This is just for you guys. This is not just for you guys, anyone that signs up, but you guys are hearing about it first. So actually second, because our email list learn about it first, which is why it's so important to get that guide so you can be on our email list, because there's a ton of value that's there that you just won't find anywhere else. So yeah, Church Training Academy, the actual academy is live. This is where you're going to get detailed tutorials and how-tos. We may introduce a topic here and you have more questions and we'll try to answer it for you. But you'll get the detailed how-tos every month. A new course is coming out. You get access to our CTA Insiders group, which is where me and Tommy are going to continue talking about church groups, and I'm going to answer all those questions. And then you can also lean on each other. And then if you sign up too, you get a whole bunch of goodies like you're going to get a church website audit, a rescue audit from me, so you can learn about what's working. And then you're going to do a video content audit. So Dave, I got to take off, but I'm going to let you pick it up from there. Tell me more about that video content audit, because that's something that I may have to take you up on as well.
Yes, I agree. We've you and I have talked about about like your lighting situation. See how his lighting situation is as the trees move. So does the lighting on him.
Come by, my natural light is cut off. Terrible filter.
Yes, but that's actually a good. Thanks for being here, by the way, Justin.
No problem, guys. I'll still be in the chat as I make my way back to the office. So just hit me up if you got any questions.
Fantastic. His lighting is a perfect example of what I want to do with these media audits, with the video audits. Basically, going to get with you and triage your video. What we can do is we can talk about some of the specifics, some of the issues that you may be having, or some things that I see that with just a little bit of effort, you guys could improve on and move to the next level. We can do that also, we can do it with your live stream, or we can do it with your church announcements, or we can do it with any kind of video content that you're putting out. So any member, just like we're doing the triage on your website that Justin's going to do, I'm here to do the same thing. So CTA members, that's something that is a part of your membership. So guys, if you go to churchtrainingacademy.com and look up at the upper right-hand corner, you can see where it says join now. Click on that link or the emails that you're getting. We are going to be having that link in most of our emails as well, so that if you do want to join, want to find out what CTA is about, that's where you can do it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Take the knowledge that we've shared with you today, the things that we've shared, and go out there and change some lives, okay? That's the whole reason we're doing any of this. That's why the church exists, is to meet people and to spread the gospel and change their lives. That's why Church Training Academy exists, is to help you better use the tools and show you what tools are out there and help you exploit the media and technology so that you can amplify your message and change people's lives. So go do it. Have a great day.